off with a big picture. 2025 was a pretty good year. In Vermont real estate, personally, my sales were up and my average price point moved from around 480 previous to over 540. So that tells me we did see both volume and strong pricing at the levels I work in. And just this week alone, I've talked to many clients about their real estate goals. So that feels, I guess, pretty hot that, that there is a lot of activity, a lot of planning, and a lot of momentum heading into 2026. Let's dive in further. Okay, so on this slide, we're talking about the total median sales price for Vermont. So statewide numbers. At the end of 2025, Vermont's total median sales was about $385,000, which was up 5.8%. Breaking that out, single family homes ended around $435,000, up nearly 5%, and condos 380, up about 4%. So now think about the historical context here. 2020 through 2022 were double digit in national local increases. Even last year statewide was up 7%. So ending this last year still up 5% is actually pretty significant, especially when historical averages range around 3 to 4% annual growth. To give you some national context, median home prices across the U.S. have still continue to rise, with typical existing home median prices nationally around $409,000, $415,000 in the late 2025, still up year over year, even though growth is more modest again than a few years ago. Okay, so getting hyperlocal, my main market, Chittenden County, did show a bit of a different pattern. Total median sales prices there ended up only about 2% higher. Single family homes actually finished slightly down, about 1.5%, landing near $580,000. But condos did finish higher than the year prior, around 5.1%, $399,000. That softer result versus the state overall makes sense when you look at kind of our challenging fourth quarter we had. We're trending, higher earlier in the year, but the pace kind of eased late in the season. And for closed sales though, so when we're talking about demand, these amount of closed sales tell us what buyers actually purchased. In Chittenden County, there were 1,124 single family homes sold, which was up 15%, showing strong preference for single family this past year. Meanwhile, condos had about 601 closed sales, which was slightly down from the previous year. That aligns with what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling in conversation. Folks want space. They come to Vermont for land. And that's kind of reflected in how the market has performed. For the amount of new listings in Chittenden County, this is talking about our supply. So new listings hit about 1,363 total, which is up 16% for single family, and 776 condos, up 9%. So more inventory came to the market, and that translated actually into around nearly 100 or 350 homes left at the year's end. More supply usually slows price acceleration, but it hasn't been consistent everywhere. For example, I've been saying Essex Junction in Vermont has been like a different story, with more homes, even condos, selling faster and for still over asking price. Speaking of asking price, we're going to talk about percent over asking price. This is really where you're going to have negotiating power, even with overall price increases. Many sellers in Chittenden County received less than their asking price, on average roughly 2% under for single family and about 1% under for condos. So that gives you an idea of your negotiating power. For sellers, understanding kind of these expectations is also critical. Competition is still there, but it's on homes that show well both online and in person, and which is a good thing to know as you are setting yourself up for success. And what are we seeing for days on market? So how fast are homes selling once they come to the market? The pace has slowed compared to recent years. Whereas we used to see homes going in 4 to 6 days, we are now seeing about 9 days as an average for single family homes. So just over a week, up about 26% from last year, and 11 days for condos, up 37% from last year. What that tells me is buyers have more to choose from, and they're not rushing to make the decisions. Even well-presented homes are sometimes taking longer to move. So it's important for you to know if you're a buyer or a seller. All right, for our last slide, insights and will prices stay that way? What's the answer to that big question? Will prices stay up? The honest, I guess, answer is it depends. Some towns and pockets, like parts, again, I mentioned of like Essex Junction, are performing very strongly, where others are more balanced. Looking at inventory, early in this January month, things are actually pretty consistent with last year, but we probably need a little bit more data to be sure of the trend. What is clear from my conversations I've been having, again, just in the last 7 days, I've had 2 new sellers reach out and 4 new buyers ready to talk, from single family to, some interest in multifamily homes with accessory apartments. So that's kind of becoming, I think, even more of a thing, which suggests, what I've been saying all year, people want to have space. They want multi-generational as well, ways to offset expenses through rental or accessory income. Interest rates appear to be holding near current levels, but if the inventory peaks, that's usually the catalyst that brings rates down and draws more buyers back in. Bottom line, clarity on your goals and understanding what's right for your situation remains kind of the foundation of good decisions in this market, if you know that from me already. So I'm happy to dive deeper with you if you have a specific area, price range that you want to talk about, so feel free to reach out.